Hi everyone, I hope that you're doing well. We're going to do a lab today. It's a lab that I adapted from what we do in the classroom, so we'll make it work the best that we can at home. So same thing. So if you notice, I wrote in the lab somewhere classroom and I forgot to change it. Just fly with it and pretend that it says family room or whatever we're talking about in the rest of the lab. Okay? So let me load up the lab here. So we're going to start. So we're going to say pre-lab questions. How many pieces of cereal are in a mole of cereal? Okay, my hint for this one is 1 mole is always equal to the exact same number. If you need to, look back at your notes or look back to my last video, because that's something you guys should know. Or attend the live lesson, you can just ask, okay? But it's the same number we always use for 1 mole equals something else, okay? Number 2, you're gonna write what you think a good estimate of how many family rooms it would take in order to have a mole of cereal pieces. Whatever type of cereal you're gonna choose to use, okay? There is no right or wrong answer. Okay, so you tell me. Okay, materials, you need a cup filled with cereal of your choice. I'm going to recommend you use a cereal like Cheerios that's bigger as opposed to something smaller like Rice Krispies based on how much you have to count. If you don't have cereal, use pasta, use cookies, use whatever you have at home, okay? I wouldn't recommend rice because you're going to be counting for 3 days to get all those little pieces of rice, okay? You're going to write down what type of cereal you're using. Okay, you need a ruler, measuring tape, or some kind of measuring tool. It's helpful if it's in metric. If it's not, I'll talk about that as we go through the lab. It's not a deal breaker. Google will solve it for you, okay? But you should have that, and you want some kind of measuring cup. Usually there's one in the kitchen. Ask your parents. I'm sure there's one, and same thing. If it has metric on one side, if you don't see it, spin around, see if it does. That's great. If not, we'll work with it. And some kind of scientific calculator. It does not need to be a calculator if you didn't bring it home. You could use one on your phone. You could use one on the computer. The main thing is, remember, anytime there's an exponent for scientific notation, make sure you protect it with parentheses. Okay, so procedure. Step 1, obtain a plastic cup filled with cereal. It doesn't have to be a plastic cup. That's just what I have from the class. Some kind of cup filled with cereal. Okay, number 2, you're going to count the number of pieces of cereal and write that number. So when you scroll down to page 3 on this lab, you'll see it has a data table and it'll say number 2. Okay? So I'm going to say for me, number 2, I had 615 pieces of cereal. Okay? I'm making up these numbers, so there should be no realistic way any of you guys have these exact same numbers. Actually do your work. Thank you. As I said, probably not an issue for most of you, but if you're feeling lazy, get a small cup. Okay? If you want, you can eat your cereal. Hey, if you have candy and you want to eat it, I mean, like Easter just ended, so if you picked up a whole bunch of jelly beans or gummy bears or whatever you like, you could fill a cup with them and say, hey mom, I need to eat them. It's part of the lab. Okay? Okay, number 3, measure the volume of the container. Easy way is use a measuring cup. So let's say the measuring cup only has ounces on it, or cups. You could say 1.5 cups is equal to how many meters? Or sorry, how many milliliters, not meters. How many milliliters? Type that into Google. 1.5 cups is how many milliliters? Google will solve it. 6 ounces is how many milliliters? Google will do the work for you, okay? So let Google do that if you need to. Otherwise, your measuring cup might have metric. Write that down. So I'm going to say mine. So my measuring cup said that I had 387 milliliters. Okay? Okay, 4, you're going to measure the length, width, and height of your family room in meters with your measuring tool. If you have a tape measure or something like that that has metric, great. If you don't, same thing. Go to Google and say 11 feet 10 inches is how many meters. It's going to give it to you, okay? So I'm going to say my length was 4.6 meters. My width was 2.3 meters. And my height was 2.85 meters, okay? So that's for number 4. If you have an irregular shape, it talks a lot about how to solve that, or you could just pretend it's a rectangle. I'm not going to come to your house and look at your family room, okay? If I had one person who messaged me from the college prep class and said their ceiling was too high for them to measure, just guesstimate. We're not going to go crazy with it, okay? As I said, I'm not going to come to your house and check your family room. Okay. Number 5, calculate the volume of your family room by multiplying length times width times height. Okay. Put it in your data table. So 5, volume equals length times width times height. Let me do that now. 4.6 times 2.3 times 2.85 is going to give me 30.153 meters cubed. Because remember, I did meter times meters, gives me meters cubed. Okay? If you think the video is going too quick, you can pause it as you go along. You can also attend the live lesson we have at 11:45, because I'm going to give you 2 days to do this lab, today or tomorrow, and I'll walk through your numbers with you if you need me to, okay? Okay, number 6. But let me say with the live lesson, if you're going to do that, you need to actually have taken your measurements beforehand. I'm not going to sit there for an hour while you count everything out. I love you guys, but I have a life too. Okay, so number 6. Calculate the number of cereal pieces in 1 meter cubed using the following formula. Okay, 1 milliliter equals 1 centimeter cubed, so we can just transition that right over. So for number 6, so I have the number of cereal pieces in the cup divided by the volume of the cup. Remember, that's milliliters times 1 times 10 to the 6th. So 1 times 10 to the 6th is a million. All that's doing is taking the conversion from centimeters cubed into meters cubed, okay? So for me, I'm going to have 615 divided by 387 times 1 times 10 to the 6th. So 615 divided by 387 times 1 times 10 to the 6th. And remember, for some of your calculators, you need to put parentheses around to protect that. Okay, that's part of what we're doing in the lab, is getting you back into the habit of doing all this. Okay, I got 1.59 times 10 to the 6th pieces of cereal. So that seems like a really big number, but imagine you have a box that's roughly this big by this big by this big. That's going to take a lot of little pieces of cereal to fill it up, okay? So if that number seems big, that's perfectly okay. Okay, number 7, I'm going to calculate the number of cereal pieces that would be needed to fill your family room using the number of cereal pieces from your answer to step 6, right there, and the volume of the room from step, 5, not 4. Let me fix that typo. You guys should be fine. So it's from step 5. So I'm going to take the number of cereal there in a meter cubed, 1.59 times 10 to the 6th, times, sorry, let me do an X, 30.153, and that's going to give me 4.79 times 10 to the 7th pieces. So that's how many would fit in my family room. That's a lot. Once again, my family room is a big place. Okay? Okay, now we're going to go to number 8. Calculate how much of a mole of cereal can fit in your family room using the answer from step 6. So, what this is basically, because remember that 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd atoms is 1 mole, 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd pieces of cereal equals 1 mole of cereal. So what we're looking at in number 8 is we're saying your family room is what part of a mole, okay? So we're going to take the number of cereal that you have in your family room, so that's right here, 4.79 times 10 to the 7th for me, over 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd. It's the same as if you get 20 out of 25 on a quiz and you want to say, what grade did I get? Okay, the only difference, I'm not turning to percent, so I'm not going to multiply by 100, but if you got a 20 out of 25, you do 20 divided by 25, and that would give you your decimal version of your percent. So we're going to do the same thing here. Don't forget, you probably need parentheses in your calculator, because most calculators are stupid. Okay, so I got 7.96 times 10 to the negative 17th moles. Okay, that is a really small number, but that makes sense because a mole is so big Remember, a mole is equal to 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd, so let me write it out in standard notation. So that's thousand, million, billion, trillion, quadrillion, pentillion, sextillion. Remember, trillion, like when we're talking like the recent stimulus bill was $2 trillion. So that's thousand, million, billion. That's all the way back here. So it's a really big number. So this should be a really small number because your family room may be big, but it's not that big. Okay? Okay, number 9, we're going to calculate how many family rooms of the size of your family room we would need to hold 1 mole. So we're going to take 1 over our answer here of how many moles it is. Number of cereal, not that one. We're going to 1 divided by that 4.79 times 10 to the 7th pieces, okay, times 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd. So I'm going to get 7.56 times 10. Oops, sorry, I mistyped something. Give me 1 second, please. Sorry. You might make a typo too when you realize if your number looks like it makes no sense. You might have hit a wrong button. I'm going to have 1.26 times 10 to the 16th family rooms. That's how many of your size family room we would need, my size family room we need to hold a mole. Your answer will obviously be different. Okay? Let's scroll down to, so the page 3 is the data table, which we just filled out. I'm sorry the box doesn't include all the different numbers. I converted it from Word to Google Docs and it just was not playing along. It's still not playing along. Okay, post-lab questions. Number 1, does the answer you calculated for step 9 surprise you? Why or why not? Tell me. It's yes or no, it's opinion. You're not going to get it wrong unless you just don't answer it. Okay, number 2, write the number of family rooms needed to hold 1 bowl of cereal in standard notation. We're writing out this number like that. So I'm going to have 1.26 times 10 to the 16th. You do not need to put commas. I am. You don't need to. You just write the number. Just get ready to hit 0 a whole bunch of times with your finger, okay? Number 3, calculate how many houses would be needed to hold a bowl of cereal. You're going to assume that your house is 8 times the size of your family room. So how you're going to get number 3 in the post-op question is take this number divided by 8. Okay? You can leave in scientific notation for that. Don't worry about it. It doesn't need to be the standard one. Okay? Number 4, do you think there are enough houses in the world to hold a bowl of cereal? This is your judgment question. Okay? Same thing. The only way to get it wrong is to not answer it. Okay, 5, list 2 possible sources of error. 2 things that could have caused your answers to be wrong. Okay? It could be human error. It could be experimental error. It could be something I designed. It could be your conversions. Whatever you come up with. Okay? Your dog could have eaten some of your cereal. Who knows? Okay, 6, what's something you liked about this lab? Tell me, what is something that could be improved? I take your constructive criticism seriously. If something wasn't working for you, tell me. I'll try to work a better method in with the next lab we do. As I said, I picked this one because this is what we would do with this chapter in the classroom. So I'm just making it, I tried to adapt it for home, okay? And that's what I meant earlier when I said classroom. I think I fixed all the errors, but if I made a typo and you read something that says in your classroom on here or on the Google form that you'll fill out, it's supposed to say family room, okay? Did you like the lab? That's just, did you like it or not? Okay, step 2, you're going to go to the Google form that matches this one. It's going to have the same questions. You're going to type in your answers in the Google form, okay? Obviously, I know scientific notation, it gets hard, so you could write this one just as 1.26, give me a space, write x, 10, give me a space, 16. or you can use the little carrot one if you have it. I know some Chromebooks on phones, you can't always find that. Just do your best, okay? If you give me a sideways, one of those things, I can live with that, okay? Just make it work. So you're going to fill in all the answers to the Google form. When you hit submit, it's going to email you a nice, neat PDF of your lab with the answers you typed in. Okay? You're going to upload that PDF to Google Classroom. That is what I'm grading. If you upload the Google Doc, I'm going to type, please upload your PDF and send it back to you. If you send me a picture of your form, I'm going to say, please upload the PDF and send it back to you. Okay? The reason I'm doing that is some of you guys are really neat and organized. Some of you guys are not. And between all the college prep class and you guys, I'm going to have almost 100 of these handed in. So therefore, it would take forever to be trying to decipher, for some of you, once again, not everybody, what's your answer, what's your question, what's this, that. So just give me the PDF. If you need help with that, please reach out to me. But as I said, take your answers, write them down on a piece of paper. You're going to type them into the Google form, hit submit, give it 5 minutes, look in your email, there's going to be a PDF. It's going to have your name on it in blue. That's how you know it's personalized. Upload that PDF to Google Classroom. That's going to be your grade, okay? So we have 2 days for that. Also remember, I'll do the live lesson 11:45 today and tomorrow. So if you need help, log on. I'll work through questions with you if you want, okay? I'll have my calculator so we can type stuff out if we need to. Don't get stressed by it. It's good practice for what we're doing, okay? If you did, when I've graded the quizzes, if you don't like your quiz grade and you want to retake, email me, okay? And then we'll get you a retake. And then going forward in this chapter, after we go through with our lab, we're going to continue with moles. I know some of you are, hating it, but you know what? That's how life is sometimes. We're going to talk next multiple moles. So if I give you iron 3 bromide, FeBr3, we'll talk about how many moles or atoms we'd have of one atom in there versus another. Then we're going to talk about mass. So if I have 15 moles of something, what mass does that take up? Then I'll talk about liters. Then we're going to start interchanging. So if I have 1.26 times 10 to the 16th atoms of chlorine, how many grams is that? How many liters is that? And then we'll keep going from there in slightly different topics with the chapter, but that's a general overview of what we'll do for the chapter, okay? Once again, if you have issues, please attend the live lesson or shoot me an email. Hope you guys are all doing well, and we'll go from there, okay? And you can always email myself or Mrs. Doombay if you have questions or concerns. And don't forget to do the daily rating that I'm putting up. It's 2 points every day, which doesn't sound like a lot. There's 45 days in the marking period. 2 times 45 equals 90. That's 90 points. You get 2 points just for doing it. And that is the only thing I'm not going to take late. If you cannot make it for that day, send me an email. Hey, I can't either do the rating early, because that just tells me how you felt with the lesson, or if you have something going on. So, for example, someone from your class said, hey, I might not have electricity because we've been told that the power company needs to work on the lines near our house. The power might not work. I won't be able to upload stuff. You email me in advance, I'll exempt you from it. It's really not a big deal. But that's the one thing I'm not going to take late. I'm going to actually turn off the Google form for that at midnight every night. So make sure you do the daily rating, because that's 90 free points just for giving me how you felt about that day's lesson. Okay? Enjoy. I'll see you guys later.